Now, hundreds of people have descended on central London for a so-called Day of Rebellion over climate change. Protesters are gathering on 5 bridges over the River Thames, blocking some of the busiest and, more importantly, their busy roads, of course. Let's go live to Westminster Bridge. Our reporter Phil Edwards is there. Tell us what the people are saying, Phil.
Yeah, the feelings are running very high here, Tommy. As you say, it's a day of direct action, civil disobedience on the streets. Environmental campaigners have taken their cause, if you like, to the next step, direct action on the streets, because they say their message has fallen on deaf ears for far too long. But yeah, it's 5 major bridges in the centre of London. Away to my left, Lambeth Bridge. Away to my right, as far as Southwark Bridge, Blackfriars, Waterloo Bridge. But by far and away, the most number of people are here on Westminster Bridge, over 1,000, I'd say, just a few yards away from the Palace of Westminster. And feeling is running very high here. Let's speak to 1 or 2 people here in the crowd. I know I just volunteered you a moment ago, madam.
Yes,
but,
yes.
I mean, where have you come down from today?
I've come from Surrey. I live a mile and a half from the Horse Hill acidisation oil exploration site. I'm a local parish councillor too. We've had a lot of local opposition to the oil drill site, and yet the local government and the government are not listening to us. What they're doing at our site is they're putting acid down to stimulate the flow, rather than using high pressure fracturing to fracture the rocks. In our area, they're using acid, which fractures the rocks, releases the acid and other chemicals into the rocks around them. We've had 18 earthquakes this year, and the last earthquake of record on the BGS site that I could find was in 1551, right. And now we've had 18.
So you've decided to actually take to the streets. I mean, it is raising the ante, isn't it?
It is. And what pushed me even further was just yesterday, UCOG, the company who are running the site, have announced figures that in the last 30 days they have flared 1.5 million cubic feet of gas. They only have a licence under their planning permission to produce oil and not gas. So with the gas, they are flaring it. They're just burning it off. 1.5 million cubic feet.
And that's contributing to greenhouse emissions,
yes.
You say.
So, what did the government say in the last week? We need to reduce the cow and sheep population because they fart and burp too much. And yet these people are allowed to emit these ridiculous amounts. And they are only doing it to try and make the site look viable to their investors.
Well, okay, when it comes to greenhouse gas emissions, what about people who might say, look, you lot will be better off protesting outside the Chinese embassy? They're the biggest polluters on planet Earth. There is one environment, and it doesn't. The most important thing is to deal with the biggest polluters.
We have to act. Everybody has to act as an individual, as a group, as a country, and as a nation. Everyone needs to take part and act. We can't sit back with our central heating on nice and comfortably and expect somebody else to take all of the whack. We've all had our central heating on for the last 50 years. We need to act on it as well. These people are not going to have their central heating on because the temperature's gone up too much. Wildfires in Canada, the average temperature there at this time of year is supposed to be 7 degrees, and yet they've got wildfires devastating the area.
Tom, that gives you an idea about how feelings are running here. It's not just here, though, as we say, it's other bridges, but it's other sites around the UK as well, and we're told other places around the world as well. This is a global problem, and they're likening it really to the civil rights movement. They want it to go global because it is a global problem as they see it.
A rainstorm in the